Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Ask Jimmy Smith. Today, I am excited to be able to talk to you about something that has been on my mind for a little while, but I see this question regularly, and I actually made this point in a video that I released about the differences between Amazon and eBay. Whenever I said that Amazon actually supports its sellers. And I got actually a little bit of pushback from that, which I'm not surprised about because it can be a controversial topic within Amazon selling communities. And so I wanted to make sure that I fully addressed the reason why I say that Amazon does support its sellers. I'm going to go through the pros of it, but I'm also going to go through fully the cons that I have thought of. And so if I miss any, please let me know in the comments below. But first, before we get into that, I want you to know that obviously I'm a little bit biased. We've had over 1,000 success stories come through our Amazon training program. And you can see over 500 of them at AskJimmySmith.com/success. Additionally, I also wrote the book on how to grow and scale and outsource your Amazon business. It's called Side Hustle to Full-Time Income. And you can find that on Amazon or in the description below. But ultimately, I am a little bit biased. So I feel the need sometimes to defend Amazon, but I wanted to make sure that ultimately new sellers that are considering to sell on the platform do have a full picture view of whether or not Amazon really supports its sellers. And you can make a definite argument against the fact that they support the sellers. And I'm going to make an argument for both, that they support them, but also they've got some room to grow and to continue to get better. I don't want anybody to come into an Amazon business with a false sense of security because at any point in time, if you do a bad job on the Amazon platform, Amazon can take away your privileges of selling on their platform. But if you're a good seller, and I'll show you why this is important, but if you're a good seller, then the majority of the cases where there might have some issues ultimately become reinstated and you get to continue to sell on the platform. And what I'll show you here in a minute is why it's so powerful to sell on Amazon as a platform. But again, it's not everybody's cup of tea, so to speak. So if you don't like what I'm going to tell you for the pros and the cons of Amazon specifically, I suggest checking out different platforms. As I said, I already did a video on Amazon versus eBay, and I plan to do more videos on Amazon versus other platforms as well. But for the particulars of this video, I wanted to fully address the question of whether or not Amazon supports its sellers. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pull up the presentation. Okay, so as you can see, I titled it, Does Amazon Really Support Its Sellers? Because that's a question that I've gotten in my private Replens Facebook group and the course groups and in other groups too that I'm a part of whether or not they actually do. And so I know for the majority of people that watch this content, you might actually have in the back of your mind an answer to this question. You might already say, nope, I absolutely know they don't support their sellers, which is why I don't like selling on the platform. It's why I'm trying to move to a different platform. Or maybe you think in the back of your mind, yeah, I love selling on Amazon. They've always been supportive. There's some issues, some hiccups, but ultimately it's a great platform to sell on. And I'm going to go through why I think that there's a little bit more of a balanced approach than yes, they're great or no, they're awful. Avoid them at all costs. So I want you to go through this exercise with me. I want you to imagine something. And I know this is going to actually be kind of a longer exercise. You get the gist. I'm talking about Amazon. I'm not hiding this at all. But imagine this. There's a platform that you've just learned of. Ultimately, you've been selling on Amazon, or you've been selling online. You're looking for different streams of income that you can add, and you hear about this new platform. And the first thing that you hear is they've got more customers than any other platform. So you're a little bit confused as to why you haven't heard this before, but just roll with me here. They've got more customers than any other platform, and it's continuing to grow, by the way, each and every year. They handle all of your customer shipments directly to your customer for you. They handle all the customer complaints when they ship those items. So as long as they're shipping the items for you, they're going to handle all the customer complaints, any cases created, any issues that they have. If it's something wrong with the product, they will handle the refunds, the returns, the reimbursements, sometimes a little bit too liberally for their customers versus their sellers, but ultimately they handle the headaches of that. And you can refer any customers that reach out to you over to the team to handle specific issues as long as they shipped the item to that customer. Next, they handle all the customer returns whenever, again, they ship the item. So if you shipped it, if you decide to use this platform and ship it yourself, you're going to have to deal with the customer problems. But ultimately, if you're using their fulfillment program, they're going to handle these issues for you. In addition, You get discounted shipping rates whenever you send to their warehouses. So you're going to save some money there. Yes, it is a large expense. And yes, many big platforms also have discounted shipping rates, but this is still something that is a part of this program as well. In addition, they will ship for you anywhere in the country, typically within 2 days and sometimes within hours, just for you, for your customers, right? For their customers, technically. All you need to do is keep track of your listings and make sure that you're stocked on all of your products whenever you send it into their fulfillment program. They will ship it anywhere in the country. Like, you don't have to worry about it. If you live in Florida and you're shipping to Washington, you don't have to worry about the much larger fees of shipping one particular product. You don't have to make contingencies in your shipping plans with fulfilled by merchant shipping plans, because ultimately you don't have to worry about it. This company will worry about that for you and actually ship the product for you anywhere in the country, sometimes internationally as well. They'll handle those things too, but specifically in the country, they'll do it within 2 days and sometimes within hours, depending on the city and where your product is located. Continuing on, imagine that also you don't need to have a warehouse of any sort. You don't even have to technically ever touch the products if you decide to use an external prep center, or if you're using a manufacturer or a distributor that will ship the products into this program for you, because there are plenty of manufacturers and distributors that do that. Ultimately, you don't even have to touch the products. You're not drop shipping. You own the products, physical products, but you don't have to touch them if you don't want to. You can actually just completely do this from the beach. You can do this from your home. Most people aren't going to the beach. I'm not trying to say, hey, this is what's going to happen for you. Trust me, disclaimer, that's not necessarily the case, but you've got the ability to do this as you would with this platform to work from anywhere if you do it in this model, in this way. Also, they will store all the items for you with very little restriction, unless you sell slow moving products, so you don't need to store it yourself, is what I was trying to say there. Ultimately, they will store these items for you. There are more restrictions now than there used to be whenever the platform was newer, but for the most part, if you're selling products quickly, they open those restrictions up. You get more storage space, you get more ability to send products into them, so that you can sell more products. And at that point, they aren't penalizing you for anything unless you have very slow moving products. Then they'll penalize you because you aren't sending in good things for them to sell. Then they just become a warehouse, as would any other prep center. If you're using a prep center or some other warehousing service that just has products sitting there, they're going to charge you storage fees, whether you like it or not. So that's pretty commonplace between warehouse fulfillment centers anyway. The next thing, there's no need for you to rent a warehouse and no need for you to pay for employees to scale your business over $1 million a year. Yes, it is something that can happen. Yes, I train on how to scale your business from zero to over $100,000 per month with this platform, but you don't need to have employees or a warehouse, as I mentioned earlier, depending on who and how you have your business set up. The next thing, also, you can even have them fulfill external orders for you. So you don't even have to keep the orders on their specific platform. You can sell on other platforms. They will ship it for you to the other platforms. Now, there's a caveat. It will be slower than that 2-day shipping or those few hours of shipping that they get on their platform. So there can be some hiccups there, but they will handle that for you. So you don't even have to store the products at your own place moving forward. Continuing on, you can get started with this program for only $40 a month. It's not hundreds or thousands of dollars a month for you to sign up to be able to use all these features where they're handling the support for you. It's $40 a month, plus they take out all of your other fees for this program per unit. But in addition to that, they tell you what those fees are going to be up front. It's not like you send in a product and they say, oh, this one actually went from Florida to California, so that's going to be $5 or probably more like $15 for shipping. But this one, the same exact product went from Florida to Georgia, and it's going to be $5 for shipping. No, they tell you up front, this is how much it costs us to ship the product anywhere in the country for you within this program. And you know that up front. So you can make the adjustments in your profitability calculations, and whenever you're buying products, you can make those adjustments up front so you have confidence knowing and whenever you buy this product, as long as nothing changes within the listing, which that can happen, that is a con I'll get to later, but for the most part, 99.9% of listings that you send in, you can have confidence that the profitability that they tell you it will actually be that whenever you send it in. So it's just $40 a month to get started. And even that, you don't have to pay if you want to pay an additional $1 per unit. But for most people that are using this program, it's best to do $40 per month. And then all the other fees for all of this extra service comes out of the price of that product. Again, there are more software programs out there for this platform than any other platform that exists today, so that you can make the best buying decisions, so that you can make the best optimization decisions if you're doing your own products and private label and advertising. There are more software programs out there so that you don't mess up as easily as you can with other platforms. Now, this can change in the future. As of the time of this recording in April of 2022, this might change in the future. But as of right now, you have so many software programs at your disposal so that you can make the best use of this opportunity as you possibly can. And these software programs, the one that I recommend is Keepa.com. It costs like $20 a month. Again, as of the time of this recording, there's exchange rates and whatnot, but that's not very expensive, so that you can be sure that you're buying the right products. And I did put a bunch of videos up on this YouTube channel for how to evaluate your products using Keepa. Highly recommend checking those out. But again, this is an important point that you don't have access to with other platforms. Additionally, you can start with less than $100 in inventory. With this amazing platform that we're talking about, they deal with all the customer returns. They've got more customers than any other platform. You've got ease of use. You can actually start with just a little bit of inventory. I know of platforms that exist out there, or at least prep services and warehousing services, that require a minimum of $10,000 of inventory for you to send into them for them to prep and ship out for you. There are platforms out there that exist like that, but ultimately it's not something that this one requires. You can start with $10 of inventory for all they care. There's no need to require big orders to be sent in to use the platform. You can start from where you are at zero all the way up to $1 million in inventory if you want to, depending on the product. And you can ultimately start wherever you are with your business. The next one, if the item is actually small and it's light and it's under a certain price, they incentivize you with better fees on those items. So they aren't charging you an even higher amount of fees for smaller products. You actually can save some money sending in some of these small, light, and cheaper products. As of the time of this recording, so it'll be April 28th of 2022, they just announced that they're going to be changing it to $10 as the maximum price for this program. And so that's a lot of products that you can add into this program and save some money on fees. Additionally, there's no need for you to create any listings of your own, although for certain models you will. If you've got your own private label products, well, then of course you have to make your own listings. But if you follow the methods that I teach in my book and in my course, you don't have to create your own listings. And so to me, that is another perk to using this platform and how they support their sellers. Additionally, you can grow and scale from there. It's not like you can only get to a certain point. There are sellers that do $100 million a year on the platform. Not doing what I do, but there are definitely sellers like myself that do over $1 million per year. And I will give you the stats on that here in just a minute for why important that is. Additionally, all of this, as I mentioned, is for a fee per unit, which they tell you up front, plus that $40 a month. Very low hanging fruit, very low barrier to entry for you to get into this platform. So why wouldn't you use it? Sounds pretty great, right? Obviously, you know that I'm talking about Amazon. So let's talk about some of the cons as well, because I want to be fair. If you're a new seller, maybe you're out here and you stumbled upon this video or my channel and you're like, what side hustle should I be starting? What should I be doing? Well, I don't want anybody to come into this, this program thinking that ultimately you aren't, or that there's completely nothing wrong with this platform, right? I want to make sure that you understand that Amazon does have cons. And so the first one that I see regularly is that it's poor or subpar. Subpar would be the nice way to say it, but it's probably more like poor case support for sellers with multiple back and forth between the person that you're dealing with. And it just happens all the time. This is honestly a big headache for many sellers, is that it's just poor case support for your sellers. You're dealing with a lot of new employees, many times internationally, that are just copying and pasting templates, and they aren't very helpful. And so sometimes it can be a pain to get to the proper solution that you need. So that is one of the cons. Additionally, there's very limited phone support. I saw somebody say that there's no phone support, and that's actually not true. I mean, if you've got an account health issue, they have phone support. You can get phone support in some different scenarios, but again, it is very limited. So for the most part, you're going to be dealing with case creations through email. Additionally, items can get lost in their warehouse. They will reimburse you though if they damage it, and they know that they damage it. We get hundreds of dollars each month reimbursed to us from items that are damaged, hundreds of dollars a month that are reimbursed to us from items that get lost. So they do reimburse you. It is kind of a pain. It's why we have an account management service that we utilize to help us deal with this, because we don't want to do it ourselves because we have too many products to deal with. But this service is a great addition to our business that's doing over $100,000 per month. Additionally, there are going to be money restrictions for new sellers. And the reason that I put this but is because it does actually help sellers so that we aren't dealing with counterfeit sellers competing against us. So Amazon created this money restriction a few years back because they saw that a bunch of counterfeit sellers were coming on saying they were selling legitimate products, selling these products to real customers who then complained, but then these sellers were long gone with the money. So technically it helps us as good sellers, even though it does also hurt us as sellers. And so I want you to see it from both lights. It is a big pain. And so I did make a YouTube video as well on how to use the profit first method of bookkeeping so that you can manage your cash flow as best as possible. Again, it's on the YouTube channel. I will link it here for you so that you can go check that out as well. If you don't click it now, then you can go check it out later. It's profit first for e-commerce sellers and my review for how you should set that up to manage your cash flow. Additionally, you will more than likely get complaints of intellectual property and counterfeit from customers. And this platform will side with the customer first, which is to me, the biggest problem with the platform, with Amazon. There is help out there to help you make sure that you can handle these things properly. I've actually done a whole series and continuing to add videos to this series on my channel for account health with expert Scott Margolius for how to handle these issues. And he actually has a book, which I have right here. So let me pull it up. It's called Amazon Plans of Action. And I highly recommend checking this book out because it's a ton of help. Additionally, check out those videos so you can see more of Scott and some of his answers to these questions. There is help out there to help you with these issues. You can do them by yourself if you want, but 99% of the good sellers out there that ever get their account suspended or shut down, they end up getting it back. And that's a very important point. It is scary to think that you could lose your account and still be a good seller because a customer lied or a brand lied against your account. But ultimately, if you are responsive, you follow the points in that book and from the points in the YouTube series, the playlist that I put on my channel, and you ultimately are a good seller that is responsive to these complaints, Amazon does look at you much more favorably. So this is a con. I'm not going to ignore it. I want you to know, but you need to know the differences between the pros, which are very high, to the cons, which are also substantial. But to me, I think the pros still outweigh the cons, as you'll see here in a little bit. The cost per product, it ends up being about 40% of the sale price for those fulfillment and referral fees. So whenever I talked about that $40 per month plus some fees that they add on per product, it ends up being about 40% that you're getting charged, which is a high fee. It's a very high fee. And I know that, but they also have a high amount of value that to me is worth it. Now, if it continues to go up at a certain point, it's going to be cost prohibitive. We won't be able to continue on Amazon at a decent enough profit margin if it continues to go up. But I believe that yes, it will go up, but prices may also or will also go up as well. And I don't think that it'll get much higher than this. If anything, it'll just cause us to pivot to different products that might have different fees instead of selling the products that we currently sell. But ultimately, it comes down to about 40% of the sale price for fulfillment and referral fees. So if you sell something for $10, you bought it for $3, your $10 minus the $4 for the fulfillment fee leaves you with $6, minus your $3 for your cost of goods sold, leaves you with a $3 profit. That's pretty good considering the fact that you didn't have to do anything but send it to them. So yeah, very good to keep that in mind. If you buy poorly, they will charge you long-term storage fees. And I keep that, I make sure that I put that there, that if you buy poorly. because we actually don't get charged very many long-term storage fees in the grand scheme of our entire business. I believe it's maybe 1 or 2% of the entire sales that we sell are long-term storage fees. So it's very low. And so, that's if you buy poorly, if you buy too many of something, and you just send it in and it's selling slower than you expected, you will get charged with those. But again, if you use any other warehouse service or program, you're going to get charged for fees for products sitting at their warehouse too. So that's just typical. That's not an Amazon problem. There are restrictions to sellers on brands and categories, so you will have to deal with that. But I also made a video for the 14 unrestricted categories for new sellers to sell in. So not really that big of a con, in my opinion. It is kind of a pain for new sellers to have to deal with this, but it's not a huge con because there's so many unrestricted products as well for you to sell on. Additionally, their team makes mistakes. Items go stranded or inactive for no reason at times. I want you to know that too. This is a con to selling on Amazon. But again, it's a very few amount of products in comparison to the total amount that you send in. We at one time will have 1,000 active SKUs on Amazon's platform, and maybe we'll have 10 or 15 stranded SKUs that we have to deal with. But 1,000 to 10, that's 1% of our products end up going stranded at any one time. So yeah, sometimes it can fluctuate and go up, sometimes it can go down, but ultimately it is not a huge problem either. But people like to look at one little thing and blow it up out of proportion into a massive problem when it's not a massive problem. If you are a good seller that follows the rules, that makes sure to buy good products using the stuff that I've taught on my channel and in my course and in my book, then I recommend that you've got a very good opportunity with Amazon here. You will need to package the products really well to make sure they don't get damaged. I would suggest that for anything, whether you're shipping it yourself to the customer or you're shipping it to Amazon. You just don't want your products to get broken, right? You don't want them to get dirty. You don't know what's going to happen after it leaves your hands. So ultimately, that's pretty common between whatever model you decide to use. And this is the biggest one, that it is their platform, their customers, and their algorithm for how items are placed into their pages, right? And their algorithm for buy box as well. So you are at the mercy of their business model and rules. This is the biggest one. However, I will say that pretty much every other platform that exists, this is also a problem. Whether or not you can, maybe they're better at it, maybe like eBay, for instance, right? They care more about their sellers than Amazon does. I would argue for that. And I mentioned that in my Amazon versus eBay video, but it is still their platform. It's still their algorithm for how your listings show up in their platform. And you're at the mercy of their business model and rules. If eBay ever decided, hey, no one's ever selling Legos again, well, there you go. You are stuck not selling your Legos on eBay. They wouldn't do that from my perspective. I'm not saying eBay will. Amazon could. Amazon has done that with certain products. Hey, if you're not an approved seller, you're never selling this product again. eBay doesn't have that. But every platform has the ability to do this to you. So I don't think that this is as big of a con. It does hurt. It is, a pain at times. You need to know about it because you need to think about it from their perspective. Anytime you're selling something, you have to know that ultimately they are careful with their customers and they care about their customers first. So you need to care about their customers. Amazon is your one customer, and they've got the billion other customers of their own, right? Okay, so just as an overview, after we went through that, it's like, oh, you go through the pros and you're like, oh, this is the best thing ever, right? Of course, I'm going to sell on Amazon, of course. But then you go through the cons, you're like, I don't know about that. This is a little scary. So I want to give you this overview real quick. First, many sellers love this program. There's a reason that there are so many different Amazon sellers on the program. There's a reason we've had over 1,000 success stories, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video as well. And you can see over 500 of them at AskJimmySmith.com/success. But I want you to know that many sellers do love this program. The opportunity is far greater on Amazon than any other platform at this point of this recording. And if there's ever a new one or a platform that overtakes Amazon, you better believe I will be talking about that as an opportunity. Yes, there are other ones to pay attention to, eBay being one, Walmart being another, and we'll talk about other ones on this YouTube channel at different times. but the opportunity is far greater on Amazon than any other platform at this point. Over 26% of sellers do more than $25,000 per month. That's a quarter of sellers do more than $25,000 per month, and over 11% do more than $100,000 per month, which is over $1 million per year. And I will show you the source real quick. This comes from this JungleScout article, and I actually made a video on how much do Amazon sellers make, and I went through a bunch of different statistics. This was one of those articles. You can see that people doing between 25 to 50,000 is 10% of sellers. People doing 50 to 100 is 5. 101 to 250 is 5. So we're up to 20%, and more than 250 is 6% of Amazon sellers. So that's 26% of sellers there that do more than $25,000 per month. Yes, the majority of sales and sellers do less than $25,000 per month. I'm not ignoring the fact that there's another way to look at this, but ultimately that is a huge amount of sellers that do more than $25,000 per month or $300,000 per year. So that's a pretty large opportunity if you're trying to create a side hustle or you're trying to create a full-time income. Now, you will have plenty of frustrations, as I mentioned with those cons. I believe that those frustrations are worth it. We've dealt with them since December of 2015. We will continue to deal with them moving forward. There are times, yes, where you get inundated with a couple frustrations all in one week. And ultimately you're like, maybe I should just quit this whole thing. But then you look at the opportunity, you look at the amount of money that you can make, you look at the, for us, the employees we support and the people that, the warehouse that we have, and just the opportunity that we have with the platform. And we say, you know what, it's just been a rough week. Let's, keep moving on with Amazon as our main platform. And this is why I said our main platform. You don't want to rely solely on Amazon after you get it as outsourced as possible. So you need to focus on scaling it. It's part of the reason I've got a program for people doing over $10,000 per month and how you can scale your business, how to create those systems, getting some of our systems as well put into place into your business. You need to get this outsourced. And once you do, then you can explore other platforms and ways to make money online. It doesn't have to be that you're always selling physical products on other platforms like eBay and Walmart and Shopify and whatever else, ClickFunnels, anything else that you do. But you can go out and have a service-based business. And so I do have videos on this channel for other streams of income, 2 different videos at the time of this recording, and I'll continue to make more of those as well. And then additionally, I wanted to give you kind of a what now? What should you do now that we've gone through all of this information? First, you need to decide for yourself. I mean, after looking at all of those pros, highly recommend just going back through that list and seeing what I talked about. I'm sure I missed some as well, but I also missed some cons, I'm sure too. So decide for yourself what makes the most sense for you, because you don't want to be jumping around from platform to platform. You need to decide on one. You need to get it growing. You need to get it scaled. You need to get it outsourced as much as you can. So then you have time to allow this platform to run as good as possible. And then you can move over to a platform that you can try adding new products to, that you can start to grow, and then do the same process. Just repeat it, right? You grow and scale the Amazon one, then you grow and scale the other one. And then you continue to do that with other platforms and models. That's how you continue to add streams of income. So decide for yourself what makes the most sense for you. Check out that Amazon versus eBay video. Check out some of the other videos on my channel. There is a free Facebook group, not just for Amazon, although it is Amazon focused, but it is e-commerce specific. So it's a free Facebook group. I've got it linked in the description. You can see the link here, bit.ly/MST group. There's over 65,000 members at the time of this recording. And it's a very highly interactive and engaging group. Highly recommend checking that out because it is free. You can learn more about it. You can ask questions. They're very helpful. Yeah, I just love that group. There's over 1,000 success stories with the Amazon Replens course and my book. Again, there's a link that I mentioned earlier where you can see over 500 testimonials. And if you're looking to learn how to sell on Amazon the way that I've done it, the way all these other success stories have done it, you can go to AskJimmySmith.com/sell-on-Amazon. And ultimately that will bring you to the page that you need to purchase the courses that I recommend, or the course that I recommend. So thank you so much. I hope that this helped you. Please subscribe to the channel. It does help me for sure to know that I'm doing a good job, that you like this content, that it's something that makes a difference in your business and in your life. Ultimately, this is a business model that works. And Amazon, while many people may push back on me and maybe even on this video and say, hey, Amazon does not support its sellers, I would argue that yes, both can be true. Amazon does not support its sellers in those ways that I mentioned, and maybe some others that I missed, but Amazon does support its sellers in all those other ways that I mentioned with the pros. And for me, the pros outweigh the cons because of the opportunity to grow and scale a business while leveraging a multi-billion-dollar corporation's logistics to be able to distribute products across the United States, across the globe, depending on how you have your account set up. There's so much opportunity for $40 a month plus a certain fee per product. That's a pretty low barrier to entry to get access to a multi-billion-dollar company. And it might be, I think it's billions. I don't know. It might be trillions. Am I wrong on that? Let me know in the comments. I'm not sure, but I know it's definitely in the billions. So for me, that opportunity is way greater to have that. So anyway, let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Give me your questions. Let me know what else you'd like to see from this YouTube channel. If you want to reach out and see, if there's any way that you'd like to get access to my course, you can see that link below as well. But thank you so much for being here. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. If the red button is still red down there, then you haven't subscribed. So I'd really appreciate it if you do, but you don't have to. I appreciate your time and hope that you have a great rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week.